Today's highlights. The US government shutdown continues. Bitcoin ETFs have seen $1.2 billion in outflows, and Wall Street is holding the line without pushing the market up. Is the crypto bull market really coming to an end? When will the reversal that the crypto world is brewing finally play out? Fiat currencies are plummeting, and Bolivia has, in just 1 year, forced itself to become a new model for blockchain governance. Today is Tuesday, November 21st. This is the BTV Chinese channel. Where is Bian? I'm Michael. Now let's look at the most important 24-hour data summary in the crypto world. We hope that in these 3 to 4 minutes of daily headlines, we can give you an extremely concise overview of the entire 24-hour market in the crypto world, so you can have a clear grasp of everything. From data, news, macro trends to market sentiment, you'll be able to understand exactly what's happening in the crypto space right now. Let's take a look. Right now, the Trump family is trending, but it's not Donald Trump himself who's in the spotlight. It's his youngest son, Barron Trump. It's been revealed that he holds a 10% stake, and his net worth has now reached $150 million. There are also rumors that during this recent market crash, the youngest son made $1 billion by shorting. The reason this news started circulating is because Barron's older brother, Eric Trump, once hyped him up on CoinDesk, saying that Barron is a total crypto fanatic. He's always researching private coins, NFTs, and new blockchain projects, and he knows them all inside out. Meanwhile, what about the US government? It's still shut down, and now it's already the 3rd week of this shutdown drama. The Senate's 11th vote failed again, only getting 50 votes, not even close to the 60 needed. So, seeing this situation, the market immediately opened high and fell lower. Bitcoin ETFs saw a single-day outflow of $500 million, and Ethereum also took a hit. The price of Bitcoin first surged to around $110,500, then pulled back to $100,900. So this market is basically Wall Street playing bungee jumping again. In the short term, let's look at the issues of fiscal policy and tariffs. Can these negotiations give the market a lifeline? So, what should we look at in the midterm? If the US government continues to be on strike, then Bitcoin is very likely to drop below 108,000 to fill this gap. So, right now, the style of BTC is nothing short of magical realism. The Trump family is counting money on-chain, while the US government is cutting power off-chain. One is issuing coins, the other is worrying. I don't think even Netflix would dare to write a script like this, right? Alright, let's look at Canada now. This time, they're really taking action. British Columbia's proposed legislation plans to impose power restrictions on AI data centers and permanently ban any new crypto mining projects. The reason, of course, is politically correct: to prioritize electricity for mining, natural gas, and other industries that can directly create jobs and tax revenue. So, AI and crypto are essentially competing for the same resources, which makes this a battle for computing power that will come to an abrupt halt in Canada. But what's really interesting is that while the data on the miners' side is being restricted, there's no shortage on-chain. According to the data, the overall destruction of CDD remains at a low level. What does this indicate? Long-term holders, LTH, have not shown large-scale selling pressure. In other words, extreme mining restrictions do not necessarily mean a collapse on the spot market side. It hasn't shown up yet. Recently, Bitcoin has been fluctuating in the $110,000 to $112,000 range, which looks more like a period of consolidation. If macro conditions continue to cooperate, it's only a matter of time before Bitcoin tests $150,000. By that time, the most dramatic contrast will probably play out. The money made in the heat of the moment is yours. Now let's look at Solana stirring things up again. They've officially announced their Chinese name change to Solala, and the whole internet is following suit. Those in the know realize it's just a rebranding and upgrade of the blockchain, but those who don't might think Solana has been acquired by the Huolala group. Although the community has quite a few complaints about the new name, what this really shows is that Solana is serious about making a strategic move and is considering how to approach the Chinese market. Choosing a catchy and practical name makes it easier for the blockchain to instantly become a household brand. In addition, Solana has been promoting the story of the top investor who bought in with $2.2 billion and held on to Solana. Up to now, that investment is worth $58 million, a 2,650-fold increase. Now that's what you call true conviction turning into a luxury ride. At the same time, over on the Bitcoin side, they're also gearing up for something big. The NVRB ratio has dropped to 1.9, and it even broke through the annual threshold. Every time something like this happens, history has shown us what comes next. The bottom is almost here. Right now, miners are being restricted by power limits, the market is trembling, and sentiment is cooling off, but funds are quietly flowing back on-chain. Solana is expanding its community and rebranding, while Bitcoin is gathering strength. This is truly the calm before the storm. Let me tell you all, this is not a time for panic, but rather, you should see it as a trailer for a market reversal. Everyone, don't blink. Watch how the market finds its way back up. Please give us a like and turn on the notification bell. We'll help you sort through the latest updates from the crypto, blockchain, and mining sectors within the past 24 hours. We also welcome you to join our membership. The most valuable content for our members is probably the weekly review every Monday at 8 a.m. Market trends aren't just guessed by someone on a whim. They're formed one candlestick at a time. Our weekly review is designed to teach you the simplest way to understand trends and read candlesticks. First, let's look at naked candlesticks. By lining up each candlestick one after another, you'll develop your own sense of the market. No matter how the market rises or falls in the future, you'll have a clear idea in your mind. Alright, let's look at the news. Right now, everyone is discussing whether the bull market will turn bearish after the 4-year cycle, or if we'll see a slow bull market instead. After all, institutions have already entered the game, and even countries are starting to stockpile Bitcoin, right? So, when the market isn't doing well, there's only one thing you should focus on: learning real skills. Whether the market can surge again isn't important. What matters is that you have your own bear market helmet. Just look at this set of data. All of the top 50 altcoins are even cheaper than they were during the FTX crash. Look, coins like Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, these big reputable names, have all dropped back to their price levels at the end of 2024. Yet, a bunch of people are still saying they haven't made any money in this round, and the longer they wait, the more anxious they get. Thinking you can make one last gamble on altcoins and turn them into a fortune? Come on, everyone, you need to see things more clearly. The market has now entered a cooling off period, and this period is all about finding direction, either up or down. You might say that's just stating the obvious, but take a look at the weekly chart. How have we advised you? How do you play defense? When is it absolutely necessary to sell for spending? And at what price levels must you enter? If you understand these, it'll all make sense.
Last week, U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs net outflowed $1.23 billion, marking the second largest withdrawals in 2024, second only to the $2.6 billion record in late February. On October 17th alone, a single-day outflow of $367 million saw investor sentiment shift rapidly from optimism to caution, and market volatility rose significantly.
A lot of these ETFs may have been receiving in-kind exchanges. So people hand over their crypto keys to the ETF provider, and then the provider simply increases their holdings accordingly. So that's not going to push up the price of Bitcoin. It just adds to their holdings. Yes, it's a wash. And secondly, for those who aren't involved in ETFs, but maybe they have $10 worth of Bitcoin, we have clients who bought Bitcoin at $100, and now it's at $100,000. They're not looking to sell. They don't care if Bitcoin goes to $1 million.
Farset investors monitoring net outflow of $40.4 million from spot Bitcoin ETFs yesterday, marking the fourth consecutive day of net outflows. BlackRock had a net outflow of $100 million. Spot Ethereum had a net outflow of $145.7 million for 3 consecutive days, with BlackRock's ETH ETF a net outflow of $117.9 million.
So we shouldn't just keep our eyes glued to Bitcoin all day. In fact, its ups and downs are now entirely driven by macro factors. Powell says things like, the economy is stabilizing, right? Expectations for rate cuts in October and December are running high. But what's the market really implying? That employment is a bit shaky. So what happened? US Treasury yields immediately reversed course. Logically, more money should be good news for the crypto market and other risk assets. But in reality, the market is doing exactly the opposite. It's so volatile that institutions don't dare to make any moves, and those big ETF funds are simply choosing to sit on the sidelines and watch. To put it plainly, what's important right now isn't whether we're in a bull or bear market, or how long the bull run can last, or whether a bear market is coming. The key is whether you yourself are strong enough. Whether you're good at creating content, trading, playing with memes, or building communities, as long as you have one thing you're better at than others. There will always be opportunities for you in this market. In the crypto world, opportunities come up every day. The question is whether you're hesitating or already taking action. If your country is currently cracking down on crypto assets, it's probably because they've been numbed by a lot of misinformation. Now more and more countries are starting to understand the trend of the crypto space. If you try to ban it, it will still find a way in. If you embrace it, you can gain the power to set the rules for new finance and enjoy the early dividends. That's why as early as June 2024, Bolivia gave the green light to crypto. The central bank directly lifted the ban on cryptocurrency trading, allowing official channels to legally trade crypto. As a result, the Bolivian market immediately exploded, and trading volumes started to double. Then, in October 2024, Pizza Bank launched a custody service, and in March, the national oil company said they were running short on US dollars, so they decided to use cryptocurrency to buy oil. By September, local car companies in Bolivia, like Toyota, Yamaha, and BYD, were all able to accept USDT for car purchases. So while other countries were still studying how to regulate crypto, Bolivia was already figuring out how to survive with crypto.
According to the Associated Press, Rodrigo Paz defeated his opponent Jorge Quiroga with 54.5% to 45.5% of the vote and will take office as president of Bolivia on October 8th. His first goal after taking office is not to stimulate the economy, but to use blockchain to fight corruption.
On October 8th, in Bolivia, as you previously mentioned earlier, there was indeed a significant scandal. You comprehensively told us all about that particular situation. It's the only Stacy Moss. Serene Paranoia, Cuello Olivier, and Ian Pizarro Mesa, and the last transformation.
Bolivia's new government proposes two core reforms. First, integrating blockchain and smart contracts into public procurement to automate processes and eliminate rent-seeking. Second, establishing a foreign exchange stabilization fund, allowing citizens to declare crypto assets for inclusion, thereby expanding foreign exchange reserves and mitigating high volatility risks. Rodrigo Paz's team emphasized that this does not mean making Bitcoin or similar assets legal reserve currencies, but rather restructuring asset composition to make the financial system more transparent and robust.
All right, everyone, pay attention. The most important point in this news is that the Central Bank of Bolivia and El Salvador's National Digital Assets Commission have signed an agreement to share regulatory experience and anti-money laundering tools and to mutually set transaction standards. I've mentioned to everyone before that ever since El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender, this Pandora's box has been opened. Many seemingly insignificant, underdeveloped third-world countries, these struggling nations, will join hands to form their own standard system and stop using the US dollar for transactions. Bolivia didn't actively embrace digital assets. It's because their fiat currency has depreciated by 60%, and the underground economy now accounts for 60%. What is the underground economy? It means people no longer use fiat currency. They've started using gold, or Bitcoin, or other means for payments. So this trend is the same as Bitcoin's trajectory. The consensus among retail investors, like the countryside surrounding the cities, forces the government to adopt it as part of the national strategic reserves. So, when bad things happen, they aren't necessarily all bad. The collapse of fiat currency has, in effect, forced this country into a new direction. It's a living case study of governing a country with blockchain. As long as the outcome is good, then it's good. SWIFT has been pushed to the brink, so it joined forces with 30 major banks to get on the blockchain and save itself. Some say this is evolution, while others think it's a collapse. The European Central Bank has approved confidential matching. It's a small step for payments, but a giant leap for confidential matching. Not long ago, we reported that even old-timers like the SWIFT system, which handles bank settlements, have finally started to wake up in the face of blockchain and are trying to turn things around. Bringing together 30 major banks to get on the blockchain, their slogan is 24-hour global settlement. From SWIFT's perspective, being able to settle within 24 hours is already impressive. In the past, making a transfer was not only expensive, but also slow. One transaction had to go through 3 or 4 banks and would take 3 or 4 days to arrive, and that was considered fast. So, for such an arrogant old institution like SWIFT to humble itself and pursue self-reform is quite something. What is this? This is the result of being forced by blockchain. When we transfer money on-chain, everyone knows that the slowest is Bitcoin transfers. The longest I've ever waited was 6 hours, but usually it should be done in about 10 minutes, half an hour at most, right? And the fastest ones settle in seconds. So now, even the old guard in traditional finance and banks all understand this. If you don't get on the blockchain now, you might really not be able to protect your position in the future.
Santander Bank is collaborating with 9 international banks, Goldman Sachs, Deutsche Bank, and Bank of America, to plan issuing stablecoins on a public blockchain. Pegged one-to-one to spot currencies like the US dollar, euro, yen, pound, and Canadian dollar, these stablecoins aim to explore how digital asset technology can boost efficiency.
New services that we can offer to clients can help us remove friction from their businesses. And I think what excites me most about stablecoins as it relates to our operations is simply the ability to clear cross-border payments for people who today...
Even the banks can't sit still anymore. Spain's KIX Bank and the Netherlands' ING are teaming up to launch a euro stablecoin in 2026. BBVA has announced plans to launch one on its own, and France's Société Générale has already issued a US dollar stablecoin through its digital asset subsidiary. Even Visa and MasterCard have rushed into the stablecoin race, vying for a foothold. Traditional finance is no longer just watching from the sidelines. Old European money is reinventing itself on the blockchain.
To put it plainly, the old guard of finance in the US and Europe have all woken up now. They just can't hold back anymore. Everyone knows it. The market cap of stablecoins is already approaching $300 billion US. This is clearly the next generation gateway for international settlements. No matter how long-standing or stable your SWIFT system is, it's slow and arrogant. And with such privileges, it's bound to be crushed by the wheels of history. According to Bloomberg, in 2023, the annual trading volume of stablecoins was around 50 trillion. So, with that kind of scent in the air, the old guard just has to make a move. As we say, in any world, the first thing to be disrupted is always finance. It all starts with the disruption of the monetary system. What is the Bank of England afraid of? That banks will become mere ornaments. What the Bank for International Settlements fears is that their power will be put on the blockchain. But now that finance has been shaken up, this war has already begun. Old money follows the rules. So what about new money? It makes its own rules. In the future, money won't be stored in bank ledgers, but in every block, confirmation on the blockchain. Anyone who follows our channel won't be unfamiliar with the name MiPay, because we've been running MiPay's mid-roll ads for almost half a year now. MiPay is now accompanying me around the world. All we have to do is double-click the power button on an iPhone to open your Apple Pay. This is the MiPay interface. Everywhere I go around the world, I use it for my purchases. It deducts USDT, so when I spend yen in Japan, dollars in the US, or Canadian dollars in Canada, it all works. So MiPay may sound like a new name, but it actually has a very deep foundation. We can trace it all the way back to 2011, when MiPay Limited in the UK was already engaged in cross-border payments and e-wallets. In 2020, the company underwent a brand revival and jumped straight into the crypto space. So MiPay focuses on just one thing, turning on-chain crypto into money you can actually spend in the real world. In fact, the team behind MiPay is quite impressive, with Canada's Global Remedy and Singapore's Pacific Fintech joining forces to run the operation. They operate legitimately with an MSD license, and their approach is straightforward and direct. You deposit USDT and withdraw fiat currency. Now you can even link it to Apple Wallet, Alipay, and Taobao. What about the fees? If it's an international transfer, meaning you want to convert USDT to fiat, the fee starts at 0.8% in RMB. If you're making global purchases, it's 1.8% with no other charges. You can get a card for as little as $10. And today, MiPay has officially entered the European market. Will MiPay become the Alipay of the European crypto world?
MiPay has recently officially launched in the Eurozone with the slogan, "One Card for Instant Global Remittance." This has now become a reality, with the first phase already rolled out in Spain and Belgium, connecting to 25 and 30 mainstream banks respectively. It allows users to use digital assets to make cross-border euro remittances, with funds almost arriving in real time.
Most per oversea en español.
The official plan is to enter major markets such as the UK, Germany, and France in the next phase, building a truly multi-currency, cross-border clearing network. They are working to bridge the gap between fiat and crypto assets, turning on-chain liquidity into real-world payment experiences, and bringing unprecedented disruption to the traditional banking system.
Actually, today, we should have just put the SWIFT news together with the news about MiPay. When the SWIFT system says they can do global transfers within 24 hours, MiPay does it instantly. Real-time global transfers are exactly what MiPay is doing. We really need to give a thumbs up to these small but excellent tools. Want to download MiPay now? You can just get it with one click from the Google Play Store or Apple Store. And there's also 24/7 online customer service to help you with any issues. Let me share a bit of data with everyone. MiPay has been advertising on our channel for about half a year now. Do you know how many people have downloaded MiPay using our channel's invitation code in that half year? 50,000 people. But that's not where MiPay's largest user base is. Where are most of MiPay's users? In the United States and Europe. Why is that? Because MiPay doesn't require KYC. MiPay strictly adheres to the spirit of Web3. It only recognizes addresses and private keys, not your actual identity. So, to register for MiPay, all you need is an email address. You never have to provide your passport number, ID number, or any kind of passport at all. So, decentralization protects financial privacy and helps avoid many tax-related issues. MiPay has achieved this, but MiPay also tells you that in order to comply with anti-money laundering requirements, the money you transfer in cannot be withdrawn. So, don't leave excess funds sitting in MiPay. If you leave your money there, MiPay won't give you any returns, and you'll be worried, and MiPay will be worried too. That's why MiPay knows very well that it just needs to make a good tool. Earn as much as you need, spend as much as you need, and the funds arrive in seconds. So, what are you afraid of?
AI wants to recklessly replicate celebrities? No way. Joining forces with OpenAI, Bryan Cranston issues a statement. Sorry, two-factor authentication must be enabled, and OpenAI will ban gameplay involving stealing lives and face swapping. Hollywood is really about to have a showdown with AI this time. Gold has gone crazy again. Today, spot gold shot up to $4,380 per ounce. It hit a new all-time high, jumping $130 in a single day. With this surge, it feels like all the money in the world is pouring into gold safes. The One Card, a collaboration between Coinbase and General Motors in the US, is now officially open. Hundreds of thousands of people on the waitlist can all apply. And the most impressive part is that you can earn up to 4% Bitcoin cashback on your spending. Finally, crypto money can be spent in the real world. In the AI trading competition, DeepSeek made a 38% profit, holding strong. BTC, Doge, and BNB are all surging across the board. Only XRP lags. It's not even moving to cash. With $4,900 in full leverage, people are still going all in on this AI wave, more aggressively than humans would dare, pulling back on buybacks. The market is tightening again, and the Federal Reserve might make slight interest rate adjustments as an emergency measure. The interest rate on bank reserves is 4.15%, which is 15 basis points higher than the lower bound. Simply put, money is too tight, and the Fed is preparing to loosen things up.
All right, let's get into some real talk. Everyone's always talking about making money, but honestly, I think the most valuable skill to cultivate in life isn't the ability to make money, it's the ability to heal yourself, to have self-healing power. There are plenty of people who can make money, but there are very few who can truly take good care of themselves. You know, in China, discrimination is everywhere. It starts with the household registration system, which is discriminatory in itself. We can't choose our background, and marriage is hard to predict. But emotions are something that come from within us. If you can't even control or manage your own emotions, then life will completely defeat you. After all, if all you have in your hand are low cards and you still manage to play a winning hand, that's not about skill anymore. A life like this has always depended on your mindset. Hardships are the very foundation of life. Don't expect life to treat you gently, but you have to learn how to handle it. Treat yourself gently, because in the end, the only one who will always be there for you is yourself. So true maturity isn't about seeing through everything, but about still choosing to love passionately, even after you've seen it all. As we enter the second half of life, don't get angry, don't try to please others, don't blame anyone. Learn to stand and smile in the wind, to become your own umbrella in the rain, to hand yourself a glass of water on tough days, see gains and losses lightly, let go of the past, and don't let your emotions lead you around. That is the highest form of clarity. If you can relate, feel free to give us a like. That's all for today's program. Every day, we help you sort through all the major events in Web3, both big and small. We hope that this news roundup can give you an intuitive understanding as you enter Web3, and in turn, support you in making rational investment decisions. Here, you'll find all of our membership benefits. We hope you'll consider becoming a member. This helps us make the channel even more professional. We also hope to lead our members together in this bull market, so we can all work hard and gradually become wealthier. See you tomorrow.